Good afternoon. It's 4:02 p.m. This is the regular work session of the Smithfield Township Board of Supervisors. I will call this meeting to order. Members present include Vice Chair Robert Levenheim, Supervisor Brian Barrett, myself, Chairman Jacob Pride. Our Office Manager Julia Heilica is present, as is our engineer John Tressler. We don't have anyone in the room physically. Is there anyone on Zoom that we might not have caught? I do not think so. Okay. We do not have any minutes to consider this afternoon. Are there any public comments on the agenda on what is included or what is not included? Seeing as there's no one in person, I'll ask our friends on Zoom. Hearing none, we can move on from there. We also do not have any unfinished business, public hearings, or plans to act on. Under new business, item A, we have to announce very simply that we had an executive session on September 30th in regard to personnel matters from 3:30 p.m. to 4:15 p.m. approximately. That was between the three supervisors via phone, and that is the requirement for that announcement. Next, they're announcing fall leaf pickup that will be running from October 18th to November 19th. I'll remind residents not to place apples or sticks or anything that did not naturally fall from your tree into these piles, as that would hurt our machine, and we don't need that happening again. Our next item is also C, announcing trick-or-treat hours. Just so everyone knows, in case anyone missed it at our last meeting, they are from 6 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. And I'll also add that on Friday the 22nd from 5:30 to 7:30, we'll have our trunk-or-treat here in our parking lot where there's better lighting. There's still opportunity to sign up to have your car be decorated, and there's no sign-up required for people to come and get candy. Our next item up is discussing River's Edge Bike Park paving. I know this is something that we had all been talking about for, I know in some cases for some of you, a couple of years, and I know we didn't get anything done at the park until this year when we were able to get everything flattened out. The estimate received, because I remember between all of us, it was about $34,000, and the estimate, I think maybe Robert, you floated it to Middle Smithfield, and we got that email where they weren't interested at the time, which was about 2 weeks ago. I think that we really need to perhaps consider looking at that if we get the master site plan grant, which we should be hearing about at some point toward the end of the year, right, Julia?
That is correct. They're looking at announcing that late November or possibly December of this year.
Okay. I don't know if anybody had any thoughts on that.
I'd like to point out, just given the history we've had with this bike park, that if we don't pave it, we're going to get into more repairs just like we had this year, and it'll be ongoing. I think we spent, was it $10,000 this year?
Correct.
Just to get it in shape, and unfortunately, weather and erosion take their toll every year. Most of these parks that are done for municipalities are paved. Can you hear me? Are paved for the very reason that it's much less maintenance. So I think maybe we take it up in our budget meetings, but in the long run, it's probably cheaper to pave it.
Can I say, too, I know it was back and forth, and John Mott had some questions. He didn't have any reference to a memo that was approved 4 years ago.
I'm going to meet with Mott, I think, next week or the week after down there with Missy,
And,
to look at it.
how about the guy that gives the vote?
He's hoping he can get there too.
That'd be important.
Yeah.
Robert, he and his company, they know what they're doing, they're very good, they're one of the best.
Oh, yeah.
And, he gives you a price, so stick
He's
to it.
aware of it, he's, hoping to be there. He's got some other big job in Maryland, but he's trying to be there.
Well, the stormwater is gonna get, it's gonna change.
Yeah.
And you saw that, was 3 pages of, things to do.
Right.
I had a meeting, and I think you were there, Brian, and Jacob, I don't remember whether you were or not, but we had a meeting with the Conservation District over a year ago.
Yeah.
And I had suggested at that time, doing a soil cement surface. And the Conservation District liked that idea. What that involves, and one of the reasons I suggested it was because of both cost, and I thought that the municipal forces could do it. And really, what you have to do is, you've gotta loosen up the surface of the bike path. And then you just take dry cement and you rake it in. And then you either wet it or to rain, and that should solidify the surface.
Without paving it, though.
Without paving it.
That's an idea.
At a lot cheaper cost.
Yeah.
What I had hoped we could do, and I had suggested this, but I know things fall through the cracks. I mean, you could even try it just on a short section, 100 feet or 50 feet, and rake it. Somehow you gotta loosen it up. I don't know what machinery the town might have. Get a few bags of cement, and you rake it into the surface, and smooth it out, and sprinkle it, and that should stop the erosion problem for you. And the bikes, it's not heavy traffic, so the bikes shouldn't tear it up too badly. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but it was a thought. It's certainly a lot cheaper than $32,000. Now, I agree that 32 is the long-term solution, if you've got the funds to do it.
I'd say we should try a patch of it. My fear would be that it creates a more coarse surface like sandpaper, and it's not about bikes, it's about kids falling on it.
It will.
Really scraping it.
But paving is pretty hard too.
Well, but it isn't coarse like this would be.
True.
But that's why I say we try it.
You could pave with a very fine asphalt, and that's not one to be coarse.
At any rate, Mott's never really heard back from us officially, because I think you were gonna give him a sketch or something, I don't know. Whatever it was, I remember we verbally told, Dave King where we wanted it raised, and there were pipes underneath, right, going from the water guard, which he did. So maybe we can get by with that with Mott, I don't know. But
Was Moss with you when you were with Dave King? Was
Hmm?
Moss with you when you were with?
No, this was when Dave came in to do the repaving. And we had nothing on paper, I don't think,
Oh,
but we told him what to do.
I think we had some remedial stuff, and that was part of that meeting we went through with Moss.
Maybe.
He said, you've gotta do this, we had to pay $100.
I'll dig
Then
that out.
Yeah, maybe we gave
Missy,
some.
I know Missy's meeting with you, so I'll try to dig that stuff out, Brian, and make sure Missy has it.
He's,
Yeah.
I don't remember with Dave, but I just remember it's kind of, oh yeah, we did this, you gotta do so-and-so. So I don't know beyond that. Let me see when Mott's is meeting. Yeah, it's Wednesday, October 20th at 9:00 at the bike park.
Great. That gives us some ground to look at for the future. Next item up is discussing Penndot Multimodal grant application. Julie, I think you can probably speak to that more than I can.
Sure. Missy Kruger reached out to, me, asking if the board was interested in applying for this grant application. The application is due on November 5th if you would like to do so. The reason she reached out to us is that the Green Mountain Bridge application that we applied for the GCED multimodal, we submitted it on May 31st and it hasn't been awarded yet. so this is a backup plan to that. Her opinion is that the applications are very, very similar, so it would not take her a lot of time to apply. And if you wanted to give her the go-ahead to do that today, she can have the resolution and the match commitment letter that would match the first one that you submitted for the DCED multimodal, prepped and ready to go for your October 26th meeting, and she could have the application in by November 5th.
Right. Okay, well, so this goes back to a discourse that we started with B&J and Missy especially, and Robert with his negotiations. And, I sent a couple of articles about two different grants that were allowed, one at Lackawanna County and one in Luzerne, for a lot of money. And it wasn't that much to do it, so I just asked Missy what she felt about it, and she had marked her calendar and got back to us, because now it's time to apply. I would like to see us apply for it, but I don't think we have anything to lose.
I would think the same, because certainly, between the two, it can come out to a good amount, and we could get, the job done, and also not have to worry about it. If we were to get both, there's a natural path there.
Yeah, we can always take the better deal.
Yeah.
Or if we need to, I don't know.
Like if we get, I don't know, I forget the exact amount, I wanna say it was close to like 5 something, but say we get 3 and 2, that would work out just fine, correct?
John, I'd need to defer to you on that. I don't think DCED and Penndot funds come out of the same pot, so it should be fine.
Yeah, some grants don't let you use other grants, but you can't use them for their match, but, that doesn't mean you can't apply them to the same project.
Yeah, so we would, in that case, we would just cut them down, make sure that our match hit the 30% requirement.
I don't know off the top of my head, Julia.
Take the requirement and then go from there.
Yeah.
But, that is, of course, assuming that we get both of them and everything is the best situation possible.
Any thoughts, Robert?
No.
Okay. Well, in order to vote to seek said application, I would have to entertain a motion to change the agenda item from discussing the application to considering the application.
Yeah.
Brian, would you like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion by Mr. Barrett.
Aye.
Okay, second by Mr. Levenheim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I will now entertain a motion to, make that application.
I'll make that motion. Robert, make it.
Okay.
A dual motion.
Yes, well, in that case, I'll second simultaneous motion by my colleagues. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. The next item up was, considering Christmas tree lighting ad. I believe we did this last year and probably in previous years too, for $130 for the Smithfield Rotary Club of the Smithfield.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a comment to make there, last year I went by, it's a nice, they do a good job.
It's a great event.
Yeah, it's a Hughes Cancer Center, they do.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So, shall I make a motion? Here, it's just to consider.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Well, to approve, we can approve it, can't we?
well, yeah, that's,
I'll make a motion, we approve it for $130 per ad in the Christmas tree lighting book, Smithfield Rotary.
okay.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Levenheim, second by Mr. Barrett. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the next item up is considering Barry Isaac contract for waterfront, or the Wellness Park Phase 3. It also, relative to the vision loss trail, I think between Julia or Robert, one of you can preface this a little bit.
The township earlier this year, received a grant for $146,467, to pursue putting in the vision loss trail over back behind, the waterfront park, and back behind the first set of soccer fields. Our match for that project was $12,737. When Barry Isaac put the proposal together, they were assuming approximately $25,000 in engineering fees. We received their contract for this package, and we're looking at 32 now. So that is an additional $7,000 that the township would need to commit to paying on its own, because with the $25,000 assumption, we have already hit the maximum allowed for engineering expenses within the grant.
So it'd be $7,000 additional.
Right. Basically, it would be, instead of a $12,700 match, figured a $20,000 match for this project. And that is assuming nothing
Right.
goes over, but yes.
That's a substantial raise in their estimate. I'm no expert on what their figures are and whether they're right or wrong. I can't say. It's just, we have a long relationship with them, so I guess I'd have to trust their figures. What else to say?
I mean, well, it's not written in stone yet. Maybe we can, call and ask if they consider just a token reduction in good faith of that $7,000. Maybe.
I mean, I'll give you a proposal if you want a second proposal, I can do that for you. I don't know if that's of any interest to you or not.
I wouldn't mind looking at another proposal. I mean, you know, I like Barry Isaac, so I'd be reluctant to, you know, do anything contrary, but, you know, $7,000 really isn't nothing, so I'm sure I'd like to.
Well, it's a percentage of their original estimate. It's pretty good, increase.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, 7,000 on, you know, 25 is a lot. That's basically a quarter, right? Yeah.
7, 14, 20.
I think it's a good idea to look at another proposal. There's another, there's an extension to this project that I haven't brought up yet, but I'd love us to consider, which is another reason to get this done, which is that, when we looked at this trail, Dave King and I looked at the proposal for the wellness trail into the woods that we were rejected on by, what was it, DCED rejected that, remember last year?
Yeah.
So, but the trail that sort of goes behind the first soccer field into the woods through a swampy area. And the reason that it cost so much was it had to get across that swamp on sort of a walk of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
But what I realized in looking at where we put the vision loss trail, is we could easily just extend the vision loss trail maybe another 300-400 feet. And since there is an old trail there, you know, Brian, that's a cross-country trail. It opens up in that area that's sort of above where the outfield of the baseball diamond is, up on a little plateau there. We could put the first of the play areas there, rather than going into the woods the other way at all. And just extending the vision loss trail, I don't know how many feet it is, about 400 feet or something, whatever it is.
I would need to consult the master site plan.
Anywhere from maybe $5,000 to $10,000, we could build the whole thing out, build a play area. And the reason I'm interested in that is, once we have a place where it is, then we can apply for other grants for what we put in it. Not only through DCD and DCNR, but there's an organization, what is it about, disabled persons in the state, and we're actually doing things that would be useful to disabled persons in a way that is usually not thought of. We probably could, you know, have a good chance of a grant there, but we've got to have someplace to put it. So that's why I'd love to get this thing extended as quickly as we can to that first play pod, and why this part of it is key, because once we get this, we're just extending the trail a little bit. my logic?
No,
With
it
everybody?
makes sense. I mean, because it's kind of in lieu of the boardwalk type of thing, right?
And instead of going back into the woods, it goes along, a trail that's periphery of the woods that goes back towards the baseball diamond. It's like, instead of going this way, we'll go this way.
So on the net, it could be cheaper. I mean.
Yeah, a lot cheaper.
That's an interesting idea. I think, our first step should be to, review that second proposal. We don't have any obligation to decide on this one tonight. So I think it'd be great, John, if you wanna have the team put one together.
We'll get it on it, right away.
Awesome.
Great, thank you.
Great. So I suppose we'll formally table this one just so we tie up loose ends on that. So I'll move that we table item G.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by myself, second by Mr. Levenheim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next item, or our last item, is H, considering advertising a full-time road crew position. Unfortunately, it looks like we are definitely losing a member, that served us well, but, we're getting toward, plowing season eventually. I don't think any of us want to think about snow or anything, but, we're basically in the area where we have to start prepping once we're really done with the leaf pickup and things like that. So, I'd like to make the same, advertisement that we had in years past and landed us, a lot of good applicants the last time around. I think Ed had a hard time, picking more than one to recommend to us, because there were so many.
This will be interesting, just because of the atmosphere out there now.
Yeah.
You don't know what the heck's going on.
Right.
Good wages, union benefit, totally good benefits and everything else. And if you're listening out there, it's a great place to work.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, so the ad was good, so we don't have to mess with the ad. We have the ad ready, and just, I'll make a motion that we, go out, begin, solicitation for a new employee, road crew.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Barrett, second by Mr. Levenheim. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Our next item, I'm not sure if this was just a clerical mistake or not, because we do have like the vendor balances for our typical bills. Nothing is out of the ordinary there, but the agenda says none, but I feel like the one that's on the door has the actual number, but I have not gone to the lobby since I came here earlier. But our obligations in total are $66,756.21. That includes legal bills and payroll, parks maintenance, and uniforms and whatnot. Also the audit costs for Karksuma and warm patch and whatnot for the road crew.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions on those?
Oh, I'd make a motion that we pay the bills.
Second, motion by Mr. Barrett, second by, I guess myself, but all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does anybody have anything else before we ask for public comments? Okay, hearing none, I will now ask for public comment. There's no one here physically, and thus far, no one has spoken on Zoom, so maybe about 5 seconds.
4, 3. I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second. Okay, motion by Mr. Barrett, and second by, I guess myself and Robert, to adjourn.
What a team. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are adjourned at 4:26. Thank you very much, everybody.